A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, the perfect show to kickstart your day, bringing you the top national, international sports and business news. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and these are the headlines. Winter session of Parliament to resume after a 4-day break. Several important bills slated to be tabled in the remaining part of the session. Triple Talaq bill to be introduced in Lok Sabha tomorrow. Jairam Thakur to take oath as the 14th Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh today, swearing in to be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP Chief Amit Shah. Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani to hold his first cabinet meet after the swearing in. Kulbhushan Jadhav was coerced and under considerable stress, says India, after his mother and wife narrate their bitter experience following their meeting in Islamabad. New Delhi says Pakistan violated the spirit of their agreement. And United States announces significant cut to its UN budget obligation for 2018-19. The $285 million cut comes after UN vote on Jerusalem. The winter session of Parliament will resume today after a break of 4 days. The winter session that began on 15th of December will end on 5th of January. And the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on a Marriage Bill is listed for introduction in the Lok Sabha tomorrow. Now, earlier this month, the Union Cabinet had cleared the bill which seeks to make the practice of instant triple talaq as illegal. Till now, the Lok Sabha has passed Immovable Property Amendment Bill, Forest Act Amendment Bill, Central Road Fund Amendment Bill and the second batch of Supplementary Demand for Grants and Related Appropriation Bill. Rajya Sabha has approved the IAM Bill and the Companies Amendment Bill, which were earlier passed by Lok Sabha, and the Goods and Services Tax, a compensation to the States Amendment Bill, as well as the Public Premises Eviction of Unauthorized Occupants Amendment Bill and the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Amendment Bills are scheduled to be taken up for consideration and passing in the Lok Sabha. The Indian Forest Amendment Bill 2017, the Indian Institute of Petroleum and Energy Bill 2017 and the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development Amendment Bill are listed in the business of the upper house. On to the other top story of the day. Jairam Thakur will take oath as the new Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh today. Elaborate security arrangements are in place for the swearing-in ceremony that will take place at the historic Ridge Ground in Shimla at 11 a.m. The ceremony will be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and Chief Ministers of many BJP-ruled states. 52-year-old Jairam Thakur will be the 14th Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. The 5-time legislator from Siraj in Mandi was elected as BJP's legislative party leader in Himachal Pradesh on Sunday. BJP, remember, ousted Congress from power in the state by winning 44 out of the 68 seats in the recently concluded assembly polls. And the first meeting of the new Gujarat cabinet led by Chief Minister Vijay Rupani will be held today in Gandhinagar. Remember, Rupani was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Gujarat at a grand ceremony in Gandhinagar on Tuesday for the second term in a row. Nitin Patel also took oath as his deputy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and the Chief Ministers of various BJP-ruled states attended the ceremony.
Vijay Kumar Ramniklal Rupani, Ishwarna Name.
Vijay Rupani taking oath as the Chief Minister of Gujarat on Tuesday. Governor O.P. Kohli administered the oath of office to Rupani and his deputy Nitin Patel at a grand ceremony at the helipad ground in Gandhinagar. For the BJP, which won Gujarat for the 6th straight term, the ceremony was a massive show of strength. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah and Chief Ministers of 18 BJP-ruled states attended the ceremony. Among the BJP allies, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar was also present along with his deputy Sushil Kumar Modi. Several union ministers and senior BJP leaders were also there. Apart from the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, 18 ministers were also sworn in. They included Bhupendra Singh Chudasama, R.C. Faldu, Kaushik Patel, Saurav Patel, Ganpat Singh Wasawa, Jayesh Radadia, Dilip Thakur and Ishwar Parmar, who were sworn in as cabinet rank ministers. Ministers of state who took oath were Pradeep Singh Jadeja, Parbat Patel, Jayadrat Singh Parmar, Raman Patkar, Parshottam Solanki, Ishwar Singh Patel, Vasan Ahir, Kishore Kanani, Shubhai Khabar and Vibhari Ben Dave. 5 of the 9 cabinet ministers were retained from the previous ministry. Ministers of state included 5 from the earlier ministry. Vibhari Ben Dave is the lone woman in the new ministry, while 6 ministers belong to the Patel community. With 99 MLAs, the BJP has a simple majority in the 182-member Gujarat Assembly, 16 less than its 2012 tally of 115. The opposition Congress added 16 more seats to its 2012 tally of 61 seats. The strength of the party and its allies in the new house is 80. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other top story of the day. The mother and wife of Indian prisoner on death row in Pakistan, Kulbhushan Jadhav, returned safely from Islamabad after meeting him at the Pakistan's Foreign Affairs Ministry office on Monday. But while the meeting did take place after months of diplomatic pressure from India, Pakistan reportedly violated the spirit of the agreement in conducting this meeting. India says the so-called humanitarian gesture of Pakistan in allowing the 2 family members to meet Jadhav lacked credibility. Pakistan has, however, rejected India's contentions, saying that it does not want to indulge in a war of words.
On their return from Pakistan, Kulbhushan Jadhav's mother, Avanti Jadhav, and his wife, Chetna Jadhav, met External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Tuesday. Minister of State for External Affairs V.K. Singh and Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar were also present at the meeting, where they apprised Sushma Swaraj about what transpired during their interaction with Kulbhushan Jadhav, who is on a death row in Pakistan.
उनकी मां और पत्नी से इस्लामाबाद में मुलाकात हुई थी। यह मुलाकात भारत सरकार के अनुरोध के बाद आयोजित की गई थी। इस मुलाकात से पहले दोनों देशों की सरकारें अपने राजनयिक चैनलों के माध्यम से इसके तौर तरीकों और स्वरूप को अंतिम रूप देने के संबंध में संपर्क में थी। दोनों पक्षों के बीच इस बारे में स्पष्ट सहमति थी और भारतीय पक्ष ने अपनी सभी वचनबद्धताओं का निष्ठापूर्वक पालन किया।
But India said that the Jadhav family meeting was not conducted in the spirit it was agreed between the 2 countries. Giving details of the meeting, the MEA said Kulbhushan Jadhav was forced to speak to them only in English and not Marathi, their mother tongue.
From the feedback we have received of the meeting, it appears that Sri Jadhav was under considerable stress and is speaking in an atmosphere of coercion. Most of his remarks were clearly tutored and designed to perpetuate the false narrative of his alleged activities in Pakistan. His appearance also raises questions of his health and well-being. We also regret that, contrary to assurances, the overall atmosphere of the meeting was intimidating insofar as family members were concerned.
Disclosing further details, the MEA spokesperson said the press was allowed to harass and hector them. Under the pretext of security, both women were forced to discard the Mangal Sutra, bangles and bindi and changed their dress before they met Jadhav. Deputy High Commissioner J.P. Singh was kept behind an additional partition that didn't allow him access to the meeting as was agreed. The Pakistani authorities further kept Chetna Jadhav's shoes and didn't return them.
We would caution against any mischievous intent in this regard. The manner in which the meeting was conducted and its aftermath was clearly an attempt to bolster a false and unsubstantiated narrative of Sri Jadhav's alleged activities. You would all agree that this exercise lacked any credibility.
Kulbhushan Jadhav's case is being heard by the International Court of Justice after Pakistan unilaterally pronounced the death sentence on him. India is expected to increase efforts to counter the Pakistani propaganda to defame it.
The aim is to get Kulbhushan Jadhav back from Pakistan to India, and the inputs got from Kulbhushan Jadhav's mother and wife will be helpful in India's case in International Court of Justice. Now it will be interesting to see that how Pakistan quickly gives consular access to India's officials. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Raj Thakur in Delhi.
And the Indian Army on Tuesday said that it killed 3 Pakistani soldiers during a cross-border operation along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rawalakot sector. The firing took place around 6 p.m. on Monday, and the strike is seen as a retaliatory measure against the killing of 4 Indian Army personnel by Pakistan last week. A Pakistani soldier was also reportedly injured in the gunfire. The operation involved Indian troops repeatedly using IED, light machine gun and assault rifle fire. Now, the incident comes 2 days after Pakistani troops killed an Indian Army major and 3 jawans and injured another in a Keri sector of Rajouri district. Pakistan summoned India's acting Deputy High Commissioner to register its protest against India's cross-border operation. However, calling them false claims, a statement by Pakistan Foreign Office has categorically rejected reports of India's army's daring operation.
हमारी सेना कमजोर नहीं है और पाकिस्तान की द्वारा ये हरकत की गई है, इसको हम क्षमा नहीं कर सकते। हमारे जवान और रक्षा मंत्रालय में वो ताकत भी है, हमारे फोर्सेस में ताकत है और 3 दिन में इसका जवाब मिल चुका है और हम किसी भी हालत में पाकिस्तान की किसी भी हरकतों को जवाब देने के लिए हमारे जवान तैयार हैं।
भारतीय सेना ने ये कार्रवाई की है तो ये स्वागत योग्य है और स्वाभाविक रूप से देश चाहता है कि इस तरह की बातें नहीं हो हमारे सैनिकों के साथ जो बॉर्डर पे हो रहा है। पाकिस्तान लगातार पिछले 2-3 वर्षों में सीज फायर का इतना जबरदस्त उल्लंघन कर रहा है। हमारे सेना के लोग मारे जा रहे हैं, हमारे जो सिविलियंस है वो मारे जा रहे हैं।
हमारे आर्मी और सेना और अपने जवानों को हम हर समय सलामी करते रहे हैं कि वो अपनी देश की सुरक्षा के लिए अपनी जान हथेली पे रखकर वो जो है ये काम करते आए। उसी वजह से अपना देश की ताकत आज 70 साल जो अपनी आर्म्ड फोर्सेस ने जो भूमिका अदा की उसका एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान है कि हम जिस प्रकार से आज है एक स्वतंत्र देश के रूप में।
More news from Jammu and Kashmir, and a top Jaish-e-Mohammed commander was killed by security forces in an encounter in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday. The militant was identified as Nur Mohammed Tantre. He was shot dead in South Kashmir's Sambura district. A weapon was reportedly recovered from the encounter site. Now, acting on a tip-off, a crack team of Jammu and Kashmir police cordoned off a house that resulted in a fierce gun battle, leading to the elimination of the top JEM terrorist. 47-year-old Nur Mohammed is considered to be the brain behind terror outfit's revival in the valley. He was wanted in various terror incidents, including a suicide attack at a BSF camp in the Srinagar airport. The Jammu and Kashmir police termed the killing as a significant breakthrough.
ये बहुत ही नटोरियस टेररिस्ट था और इसको काफ़ी केसेस में जो हाईवे पे अटैक हुए हैं उसमें ये इसकी इन्वॉल्वमेंट पाई गई है और ये जैश-ए-मोहम्मद से ताल्लुक़ रखता था और अभी भी प्लान कर रहा था कुछ अटैक करने का.
And what all events are expected to unfold through the course of the day today? Let's take a look in the day ahead. Jordan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ayman al-Safadi, will arrive in India on a 2-day visit today. Safadi is scheduled to meet with the Minister of Commerce and Industry, Suresh Prabhu, in the afternoon. Safadi will hold a meeting with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Thursday. The visit comes almost a week after both India and Jordan voted for the UN resolution demanding that the United States rescind its 6th of December declaration on Jerusalem. Nursery admissions in Delhi for the session 2018-19 begins from today in 1,700 schools. Children between 3 to 4 years of age are eligible for admission. Parents have to submit the forms online or at the school by 17th of January next year, which is the last date to apply. And the first merit list for selected students will be published on 15th of February. This admission process is for 75% seats at the schools. 25% seats are reserved for economically weaker sections or disadvantaged categories, and they will be filled centrally by the government. President Ramnath Kovind will inaugurate the Andhra Pradesh Fiber Grid project aimed at providing high-speed internet service to every household in the state at a nominal rate. Fiber Grid, the prestigious pet project of Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu, also aims to ensure that every household in the state has access to cable television and telephone connections. President Ramnath Kovind will also inaugurate the Indian Economic Association Summit at the Acharya Nagarjuna University and visit the Andhra Pradesh government's transitional headquarters at Vilagapudi. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
A labyrinth of hundreds of narrow stairway passages, is a significant and historical component of what you popularly know as Bara Imambara. Some of these narrow stairways have dead ends, some end at precipitous drops, while others lead to entrance or exit points. Historically, Bhul Bhulaiya was constructed to confuse the enemy intruder, and the narrow lanes of the labyrinth can make anyone feel lost. The structure contains various strategically built hollows in the corridors.
Welcome back after the break. The government has granted aid to states with international border for the development of infrastructure in forward areas. The Home Ministry has released 167 crore rupees to 9 states with international border. The states which will benefit include Rajasthan, Punjab, both sharing international border with Pakistan, and West Bengal and Assam, which share a boundary with Bangladesh. The official sources say that the amount was recently released to Meghalaya, Punjab, Rajasthan, Bihar, Sikkim, Tripura, Assam, Himachal Pradesh and West Bengal under the Border Area Development Program. The fully centrally funded BADP program covers all villages which are located within 0 to 10 kilometers of the international border in 17 states. However, priority is given to those villages which are identified by border guarding forces for speedy development of infrastructure. Let's get you the weather update. And cold wave conditions continue to grip across several states in North India. And in Delhi, a thick blanket of haze has developed with the city recording a minimum temperature at 7.1 degrees Celsius, while the maximum temperature has been recorded at 23.7 degrees Celsius. The Met Office has predicted overcast skies along with a dense fog for today. Now, speaking about Jammu and Kashmir, the mercury has settled several degrees below freezing point. Kargil has been the coldest place in the state as the temperature dipped to minus 15.4 degrees Celsius. Srinagar city recorded its coldest night at minus 4.2 degrees Celsius. And while in Himachal Pradesh, Manali has registered minimum temperature of 2.6 degrees Celsius, and Bhuntar in Kullu district and Sundarnagar in Mandi recorded a low of 0.8 degrees Celsius and 1.6 degrees Celsius respectively. All natural sources of water, including lakes, springs and tributaries of major rivers, have also remained frozen for the last 6 weeks. And what else is making news across the nation? Let's take a look in nationwide. In Rajasthan, most of the in-service doctors have not joined duties even after the state government issued a warning. After the High Court order on Monday, the Health Department has issued an ultimatum to the striking doctors to resume duties by Tuesday or face action. The doctors are on strike from the last 11 days, which has affected health services across the state. A country fishing craft carrying a group of children on a pleasure trip capsized, drowning 6 of them in backwaters near Malappuram in Kerala. Most of the children were relatives and neighbors and had come here for a vacation when the tragedy struck. A total of 9 persons were on board the small craft for a pleasure trip in the backwaters. 2 children and the boat's oarsmen were rescued. And the Indian Air Force flag now flies high at the tallest peaks of all continents after a team of its mountaineers completed the challenging 7 Summits expedition with the scaling of Mount Vinson in Antarctica. The 7 Summits is a well-known mountaineering goal comprising the tallest peaks of the 7 continents. A team comprising 5 IAF mountaineers completed the assigned mission on Tuesday, making the Indian Air Force the first organization in India to achieve this unique feat. On to some other news now. Foreign ministers of China, Pakistan and Afghanistan on Tuesday held their first trilateral dialogue in Beijing. The 3 sides reiterated their firm resolve to fight the menace of terrorism while deciding not to allow any nation, group or individual to use their territories for terror activities. The foreign ministers also discussed development, security and counter-terrorism during their first trilateral. This was the first meeting of its kind ever since the 3 nations agreed to establish a trilateral dialogue mechanism in June this year. Foreign ministers of Pakistan and Afghanistan reaffirmed that a broad-based, inclusive peace and reconciliation process, which is Afghan-led, Afghan-owned and fully supported regionally and internationally, was the most viable solution to end the violence in Afghanistan. China and Pakistan will also look at extending their $57 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor to Afghanistan as part of China's ambitious Belt and Road Plan linking China with Asia, Europe and beyond. The second China-Afghanistan-Pakistan Foreign Ministers Dialogue will be held in Kabul next year.
中国和巴基斯坦，我们双方愿意同阿富汗一道，本着互利和共赢的原则，来探讨中巴经济走廊以适当的方式向阿富汗的延伸。双方同意尽快的改善彼此的关系，实现双方的和睦相处和共生共存。双方都一致表达了绝不会允许任何人、任何势力利用自己一方的领土来从事反对和破坏另一方的行动。
The successful implementation of CPEC projects will serve as a model for enhancing connectivity and cooperation through similar projects with neighboring countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, and with Central and West Asia.
Our top international story, the US has announced sanctions on 2 North Korean officials behind their country's ballistic missile program. The US Treasury named the 2 men as Kim Jong-sik and Ri Pyong-chol. The 2 men are reported to be involved in moves to switch from liquid to solid fuel and advance ICBM development. As a result of the order, these individuals will now be blocked from making any transactions with the US individuals and businesses. Both the men are regularly photographed alongside North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at missile launches. Already, the Treasury Department has added 8 North Korean banks and more than 24 North Korean individuals working in other countries to its sanctions list. Now, the Treasury Department's latest step follows a decision by the United Nations Security Council last Friday to impose new, stronger sanctions on North Korea. North Korea said that the move was an act of war and was tantamount to a total economic blockade. And the US government has also announced a significant cut in its United Nations budget obligations for 2018-19. The cut is at least $285 million. Now, the country's ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, touted a $250 million cut to the UN's annual budget, saying in a statement that we will no longer let the generosity of the American people be taken advantage of or remain unchecked. Apart from this, the reductions would also be made to the UN's management and support functions. The UN's 2-year budget is roughly $5.5 billion and the total US contribution to the United Nations is 22%, which is more than any other nation. The announcement caps off a contentious year between the Trump administration and the international body, and the announcement came days after the US exercised its first veto in years at the UNSC, Every other member of the body, including the US allies, voted in favor of a proposal affirming international opposition to US recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The UN General Assembly went on to vote on the same issue, passing a non-binding resolution disapproving of the Trump administration's decision. Let's get you all the sporting action now, and the Indian cricket team will fly to South Africa from Mumbai today to take part in the upcoming series between the two countries. India will play a series of 3 tests, 6 one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals against South Africa. The 3 tests will be played at Newlands, Cape Town, Centurion and the Wanderers in Johannesburg. The series will start with the longest format from 5th of January next year, and it will continue till 24th of February. For the Indian Test squad, Virat Kohli, Murli Vijay, Shikhar Dhawan, Lokesh Rahul, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, Riddhiman Saha, R. Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Mohammad Shami, Ishant Sharma, Umesh Yadav, Parthiv Patel and Jasprit Bumrah will take part. The squad for the South African team has not been announced as yet. Some more sporting action in Sports Wrap. Zimbabwe will resume their test match with South Africa on the second day today in Port Elizabeth at an overnight score of 30 for 4 wickets in 16 overs, with the batsmen Ryan Burl and Kyle Jarvis at the crease. On Tuesday, South Africa also made a good start with the batsman Aiden Markram. It scored 309 for 9 wickets in 78.3 overs. The 4th test of Ashes series between Australia and England is underway on the second day today at Melbourne. Australia have been bowled out for 327 in 119 overs. On Tuesday, the hosts made a solid start with the batsman David Warner posting a century to claim his 21st Test 100. Roberto Firmino scored twice as Liverpool returned to 4th position in the Premier League with a 5-0 win over Swansea City. Philip Coutinho, captain for the day, led the way with a curling shot into the top corner, while Alex Hollande and Chamberlain added their first home goal in Liverpool colours. And finally, the second wedding reception of Indian cricket team captain Virat Kohli and actress Anushka Sharma in Mumbai was a star-studded affair. Now, many Bollywood stars including Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Katrina Kaif, Ranbir Kapoor among others graced the occasion. Several cricketers including MS Dhoni, Cheteshwar Pujara, Kuldeep Yadav, R. Ashwin and others were also present, along with former cricketers Sachin Tendulkar, Sunil Gavaskar, Virendra Sehwag and Anil Kumble. So we leave you with these visuals. Thanks so much for watching.